Audio Jungle.
Missing man found dead in tank in Manchester. The Manchester police are investigating the suspected drowning of a 57-year-old man in the parish on Sunday. He has been identified as Delroy Spencer, a labourer of Midsfield, Newport, Manchester. Spencer's body was reportedly found floating in the tank at the back of his house about 1 p.m. The Newport police say he was reported missing on Sunday by relatives. Education Ministry condemns tragic and senseless killing of St. Mary teacher. The Ministry of Education has expressed deep sadness and outrage at the tragic and senseless killing of Angela Hamilton, a teacher of Pear Tree Grove Primary and Infant School in St. Mary. Hamilton's body was discovered in her home on Saturday. We are deeply shocked and heartbroken by the tragic loss of Miss Angela Hamilton, a beloved teacher who dedicated her life to shaping the minds of our young people. This act of violence against one of our educators is unacceptable and has shaken the education fraternity and the nation as a whole. I implore anyone with information about this crime to come forward and assist the police in their investigation. The perpetrator must be swiftly brought to justice, Education Minister Dana Marsh Dixon said in a media release on Monday. The ministry says it has activated its regional team of guidance counselors and grief support services to support the Pear Tree Grove Primary and Infant School community. Hamilton was last seen leaving work on Friday afternoon. She lived alone. The St. Mary police say concerns were raised when attempts to contact her on Saturday afternoon went unanswered. One of her friends reportedly visited her residence around 3:05 p.m. and discovered that the door to the living room was open. Upon entering the house, the friend reportedly found the teacher's body in the dining room. Her throat was slashed and she had a stab wound to the chest. Fire chief concerned that 4 children died already in fires this year. 4 died for entire 2024. The Jamaica Fire Brigade JFB says it is quite concerning that 4 children have died in residential fires with only 13 days gone in the new year. Speaking with reporters, JFB Commissioner Stuart Beckford described this year's data so far as heartrending, especially when compared to last year's statistics. The brigade recorded 4 children dying in residential fires last year. However, between Wednesday and Sunday, house fires claimed the lives of 4 children: 5-year-old Kimberly Harrison of Whitehall Avenue, St. Andrew and siblings, 2-year-old Giovanna, 4-year-old Tashani, and 7-year-old Tashana Mattis in Walker's Wood, St. Anne. Commissioner Beckford said the pace of death cannot continue. He said the JFB will ramp up its public education campaign to ensure citizens employ the appropriate measures to protect themselves and their children.
It's a concern of the Jamaica Fire Brigade, and I think it should be a concern of all when thinking citizens that within a week and a half, 2 weeks into the new year, we have lost 4 children compared to the same number that we lost for the entire year last year. I mean, if we go back 10 years ago, where we had the alarming statistics of maybe sometimes up to 10, 12 children died in fires, we partnered with some corporate entities, and we, through public education, we brought the numbers down to what could be considered an acceptable levels. Acceptable in the sense that it was not as high as it was 5-6 years ago, but one life lost is one life too many, and especially when it comes down to our children. The fact is that most of these fires that they are dying in, if not all, are preventable fires. So it's a concern of the management of the fire brigade, the board, the Ministry of Local Government. We are seeing this unfortunate situation where so many children are dying in fires at such a early stage of the new year. We as a brigade will continue to do what we can in terms of taking the message to the public education campaign, continue to sensitize parents, generally homeowners, of the steps that they can take to mitigate against the risk of fires occurring in their homes. And if one do happen, what do you do to ensure that no life is lost? You can always replace material things. Property can always be replaced. They cannot replace a life. And these innocent children, they are their entire lives ahead of them. And so it's really heartrending when we have to treat with something of this nature.
Jamaicans urge not to resort to violence and crime as solutions to issues. Minister of Justice Delroy Chuck is calling on Jamaicans to desist from resorting to violence and crime as solutions to issues. Mothers, sisters, and girlfriends You have to tell those boys to cut it out, and those who know of their illegal activities must be exposed. Silence is not an option. When you know these things, bring it to the attention of the police. Unless you work closely with the police and other authorities, it is not going to stop, the minister stated. He was delivering the keynote address at the Custos of Manchester's annual church service held at the First United Pentecostal Church in Mandeville on January 12. This was held under the theme, Building a Better Jamaica for Future Generations. Noting that people took the approach that crime was not their problem until it touched them, Chuck said decent, law-abiding citizens must work together to reduce the spaces where gangsters, wrongdoers, and criminals thrive because they have no conscience. They are determined to take as much as possible that they can from you. If your individual lives, you must ensure that you expose all sorts of wrongdoing. You have to have courage and determination that for Jamaica to become a peaceful place, we have to get rid of those engaged in wrongdoing, the minister emphasized. Commenting on other challenges facing Jamaica, especially the cost of food, he pointed out that this was a problem being experienced globally, even in places where the per capita income was much higher. Chuck said changing farming methods to more advanced technology methods could result in higher yields. Producers have to learn to work smarter so that prices can go down. With methods like hydroponics, much more can be produced to a cheaper rate. Instead of joining gangs, if we can get our young men active in things like raising goats rather than stealing them, much more can be done in Jamaica. With everyone participating, this would stabilize the cost of living, he noted. He also appealed to employers to pay more, where possible, to employees who were finding it hard to survive on a minimum wage. Meanwhile, Custos of Manchester, Garfield Green, commended the minister for empowering the Custoses and Justices of the Peace to become more knowledgeable and capable of providing justice across the community. He cited the many programs initiated to ensure that the rights of every Jamaican are protected while taking justice to them, and how the minister continues to strengthen the justice system to one of the best in the world. I encourage all of us as leaders to take our role seriously. We have a cadre of JPs who are true to the office and ensure they provide the required services for which they are called. Our theme reminds us of the values of fairness, empathy, patriotism, and responsibility. Building a better Jamaica requires a shared vision and unwavering dedication to uplifting every citizen, fostering opportunity, and creating an environment where all can thrive, Custos Green noted. Also in attendance of the service were Member of Parliament Audley Shaw, Manchester North Eastern, and Michael Phillips, Manchester North Western, Acting Governor General, Custos Stedman Fuller, and Sonia Fuller, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Justice, Grace and Scarlett McFarlane, councillors, members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and Justices of the Peace from Manchester. Remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.